Welcome to Hot Flash Chronicles, where midlife is messy, menopause is madness, and we're sweating through it together.
We're Angie and Shelly, two caffeine-fueled, slightly inappropriate grandmas who say what everyone's thinking.
So grab a drink, crank up the AC, and let's dive in. Angie.
Shelly. Shelly. What's crack-a-lackin', home slice? Sorry.
Wow, you're so hip.
Oh, boy.
Okay,
What's going on?
it's time for a podcast.
Hooray!
Hip,
Huzzah!
hip, hooray! Yeah, and it's going to be another enlightening one. It's going to be
Enlightening. I don't think you've ever used that adjective before. I like it.
changing,
Me
possibly.
gusta.
Or maybe just life affirming, Yeah.
Yeah.
Or none of those. Could be none of them.
What are we talking about?
We're going to talk about there's no shame in taking care of your health. And
Which seems like it should be wildly obvious that that's the case.
but there are things
However,
there are things that happen that people have feelings about, and they'll let you know. And
so the reason we're having this conversation is I just had a physical with my new doctor. Shout out to Brianna. They're an amazing medical provider. And I was like, hey, so I was told that maybe I should have my estrogen levels tested because I'm in menopause. Blech.
bleh,
And
big old bleh.
they are a photo client of mine, so they know me.
Mhm.
And they're like, well, I think that some of the stuff you're describing might be from your ADHD. And I
Mhm.
haven't been taking my ADHD meds for a while.
Mhm.
And let's kind of get to the bottom of it. But they explained that having a lot of these tests isn't always necessary because they don't really give you a lot of answers because it's such a broad range
Yeah.
of results.
Yeah.
But I'm starting estrogen today. So
Yay!
hooray, excited for that.
So there are times when things we have to do to take care of our health involve sometimes doing things like taking medications. And there used to be, especially I remember like back in the 80s, when they first started coming out with medications to treat mental illness, there was a lot of shame in if you had to disclose or say that you were on a medication because it was saying you were crazy. That's what that meant. And we now know after,
It's not.
decades, I know, of being exposed to this, we've learned there really shouldn't be any shame in it, but there was, and we have a culture of people who believe getting help, taking medicine means you're weak. And they put a lot of feelings attached to if you make a decision to take a medicine to treat something that's going on.
Yeah.
So I know that back in the 80s, if you were taking Prozac, which came out like in the late 80s, you could get fired from your job.
Really?
Like if they found out, if you had to disclose or tell people that you were bipolar or you had manic depressive was what it was called there, manic depression, which now is called bipolar, which, is probably called something else. But if you had that, there was a chance you could lose your job because you were crazy and you could be dangerous. So, or if you were schizophrenic or any other mental illness, but if you were taking lithium or if you were taking something, there were a lot of judgments attached to people who were diagnosed with mental health conditions.
Right.
You could have your kids taken away from you. There was all kinds of stuff.
Thank God we've turned the corner on that to where it's more normalized. And they also said that we can try antidepressants later.
Yeah.
And again, there's no shame in it. And I'm okay with talking about it publicly because I'm not embarrassed. It's just I'm going through some stuff, and it's like it's nice to have a mental health provider that is advocating for me.
Yeah.
There are also things like weight loss drugs that have a lot of stigma around, like, oh, that's cheating. Just like getting weight loss surgery is like the easy way out. First of all, both of us can tell you it is not, in fact, the easy way out because both of us have had weight loss procedures.
Yep.
Both of us are currently on the injections, so different brands. So it's not something I'm ashamed to say because,
you guys, there's like, if you have been diagnosed with something, whether it be like a lot of people, the feelings around weight and weight loss are
Oh, you should just eat
super
better and
push
exercise
the
more.
fork away.
Yeah, put the fork away and maybe you won't have to take a weight loss drug. It's like, well, there are things
Do
like
you think we didn't?
metabolic syndrome and polycystic ovarian syndrome, which I have both of.
Insulin
Insulin
resistance.
resistance, which I also have.
There's a lot.
There are things that make it harder for some people to
Just push
be
the
at a
fork
healthy
away.
weight than others. So why not use the tools?
There's a lot of feelings around weight and
Yeah.
weight loss. There always have been. There is a negativity, of course, assigned to being overweight.
Mhm.
Automatically, people make judgment calls like, you're lazy. You can't control yourself. There's all these things. They think people deserve
Mhm.
to be fat if they can't control themselves. And so, as an obese person, or formerly obese, because I was most of my life from the time I was a teenager. And even when my parents, when I was younger, even when I was before I was a teenager, I was still a chubby kid. This has been a lifelong thing with me. And I absolutely pushed my fork away several times. It wasn't
I
about that.
consistently eat under 1,500 calories a day,
Yeah.
which is the amount of calories, to my understanding, like I'm generalizing here, that it's about 100 calories per 10 pounds that you weigh to maintain.
Just
So
to keep you at
1,500 calories a day would maintain a 150-pound person with no other factors involved, is my understanding, and it might be wrong. But calorie restriction is not enough.
Yeah.
Like,
It doesn't
it's not
work.
enough for me.
And the reason it doesn't work is because there's an actual, I'm not saying every overweight person has it. Some people do just
But
don't
I'm not
eat
rocking
right or whatever.
McDonald's 3 times a day. I'm
No.
not like eating 3 dozen chocolate chip cookies at a time. Like when I do calorie counting, I'm under 1,500 calories a day, like pre-medication.
But
So
you have
it's
a
like,
hormone imbalance. That's
it's not
why
working.
when
Like
your
calorie
insulin,
restriction is. I mean, how many calories should I eat? Like 400?
no, because that won't work either.
Yeah. So I've tried all of. I did a 600 calorie a day diet for 4 months, and I was sick.
Yeah.
Because your body needs more calories than that. So taking a medication that's going to help through that is there's no shade in it.
There are real metabolic disorders that, and a lot of people, if you've been chubby your whole life, you probably have one. You should try to figure out which one it is you have.
If you want to.
If it's something you want to address, because pushing the fork away is probably not going to work for you. And people are going to still make judgment calls and just look at you and think you're this kind of person.
Right.
And it's not fair, but it is something that people do. And that is where you have to decide when you get diagnosed with something. Like, I was told that I had metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance. And honestly, I got that diagnosis when I was in my mid-40s, and it was a relief. I was relieved to know that it wasn't just me being a glutton, me being lazy, me being not able to control myself, because I would push the fork away. I would reduce my calories.
You were really
calories.
good at keto. Like, you were so.
I was always religiously.
I don't want to say strict, but you were very.
I would follow
the
it.
plan. Like,
I would follow a plan. I would increase my exercise. I would lose a little bit, and then I would just stop, and it would plateau out. And now
you're all different.
It finally made sense, and I was able to then decide, having that knowledge, which a lot of getting to find out what's wrong with you is you now being able to understand what the issue is, whether it be that you have metabolic syndrome, whether it be you have ADHD, whether it be you are manic depressive, whatever. When you get a diagnosis, you now have knowledge and you have information. Now you get to be more proactive in deciding how it's going to be treated, or if it's going to be treated.
Right.
And if you decide you're going to treat it, you have to be able to do your research, figuring out what kind of provider you maybe need to assist you, because maybe you do need medication. So it gives you some different avenues to pursue. And that's why we kind of wanted to talk about this, was when you find out you have avenues to pursue, there's no shame in that. Like, this is your life. This is your health. You get to make the call. And other people, believe me, other people will have feelings about it.
And somebody else's opinion of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
So what you were saying about the relief, like I felt that when I was diagnosed with ADHD, because it was like, oh, okay, so I'm not just like scatterbrained
Mhm.
weirdo, can't hold a thought for more than a half a second,
Mhm.
like can't finish projects. Like it's not just me being less than of a person. It's because I actually have a disorder
And those things
that
work
causes
away
this. And
at,
Adderall also is something that people have a lot of opinions about
yep.
because it is microdosing meth.
Yeah.
But if you have an ADHD brain, again, my understanding, not a medical practitioner, not a
Yep.
like, my understanding is your body reacts to stimulants in different ways. So
Mm.
uh, something that would be an upper for someone else is actually a downer
For
for
you.
people that have like people people talk about coffee like we know how much we love coffee.
Mhm.
Coffee does not wake me up, it calms me down.
Yeah.
And that's why I like it because it chills me out.
Mhm.
It puts things into more focus because it's a stimulant, and to my brain, a stimulant actually works as a focal point. So
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, I need coffee to stay awake." I do not need coffee to stay awake. I need coffee to stay on
To
task.
be focused.
So it's nature's Adderall.
Yeah.
But I haven't taken Adderall for about 6 months and I can tell.
Mhm.
Like I can tell that my productivity has gone down, my stick to itiveness has gone down, things like that. So it's like, okay, we need to get a handle on this and go back. But Adderall is something that people raise eyebrows because isn't that just microdosing meth?
Yeah. Well, see, and here's the thing.
Or
When
anxiety
you,
meds, like
yeah,
all of it. Like
yeah,
my
when
anxiety
you,
meds, if you say like, oh, well, are you just going to take a cocktail of everything? Yes, I'm going to take whatever the fuck I need to take to get myself in order.
yeah. And that's the thing is
Full stop.
I've tried different, like I've been on antidepressants before for, and tried different ones because you have to find the one that works with you and your
Mhm.
chemistry. Sometimes something that works really well for someone doesn't work for you at all or
Mm.
works the opposite. So when you are trying to get the right dosage and the right medication, it can be a little bit of a journey to find the one that is going to work appropriately for you because it does have to work with your body chemistry. And what I found out on my weight loss journey is when I had RNY gastric bypass, which is where they kind of reroute stuff. Part of what happens when you have that surgery is it cuts off the communication between some of the hormones in your gut
Mhm.
that go up to your brain. And that's partly part of why it works on it. What that particular
So it cuts
operation
off like
does,
like cravings,
yeah,
some cravings.
some it's satiation and satiety or wherever you say that. It's how feeling full or not feeling full is one of the things it messes with, and it also is just a physical reduction. Like you can physically, they reroute things and your stomach becomes able to take about the size of an egg is what is able to be put in. So it's restriction and malabsorption is
Yeah,
the things that work.
which is why you have to take the vitamins
Multivitamins
and stuff
for the rest
because
of
you
your
don't
life.
have now the procedure I had done, they did not remove any part of my stomach or reroute anything. So I still have all of those hunger hormones. I like all of that is still active tissue.
Hmm.
It's just been sutured off so that
Hmm.
the capacity of my stomach is smaller.
Hmm.
But I'm almost at in 3 months I'll be or in 2 months I'll be 3 years out, I
Hmm.
think, from my procedure and I still have a ton of restriction.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, if you just continue to eat as much as you can and get away with it,
Or more times a day,
right? Like
then you can
some
take in more
people try to
calories.
like, even though I don't have room, I'm gonna like push the limits and eat as much as I can in each sitting. It will grow large again. And like originally I only had like a quarter of a cup capacity and now I'm at about a cup and a half
Hmm.
that I can hold. But I still have massive restriction. I can't even a bite of rice
Yeah.
because it's so painful.
Yep.
But if you like get the thing, but then you don't follow the guidelines, like it's important to follow
You have
the
to,
instructions that your medical provider gives you with
yeah.
any sort of medication or procedure or treatment or
Yeah, you have to
that.
follow that. Like the thing that I like in my procedure, having the RMY, it same thing. My whole stomach is still there. They didn't remove any
Mhm.
stomach, but it doesn't speak. It's rerouted
Mm.
the way they reroute it, and
I guess I thought part of yours is removed.
Nope.
Interesting.
No, it's the sleeve is where they remove it. Mine is
Okay.
just rerouted and kind of stapled off, and it can be undone. You
Mm.
can undo this one, but you can't undo a sleeve.
Right, because you can't re-add the
But
tissue back in.
yeah, but the thing is if I wasn't eating properly and I wasn't being active enough, I would also lose muscle along with losing
Mm.
fat and weight. You would lose your muscle. You don't want that to happen. And I could regain on this too, because all you have to do to regain is you don't even have to overeat or push the restriction. You just have to eat more times a day.
Mm.
Like you just eat when you're not hungry and you eat a little bit more. And that is how people have had the procedure I've had and lost 150 pounds and over 3 years gained 160 back. Because if you haven't figured out why you overeat and you don't stop it, then it doesn't work. It won't work. You have to follow the rules. And what I found was when I had restriction and lost some of the craving because my stomach couldn't send that hunger hormone up to my brain the same way, that fixed it for me. And I was able to eat, the smaller amount, feel satisfied, and still like what I'm eating, still enjoy it, but not regain. I'm 3 years out, a little over 3 years out from my surgery, and I haven't regained, and I've actually
Yeah.
continued to very slowly
Yeah.
lose. But it wouldn't work if I weren't doing the right things. And guess what? Those are the same exact things I did before I had the surgery, and I just couldn't lose.
Yeah.
But now that I've had the surgery, I'm able to follow rules and eat healthy, and it now does work, which tells me, oh, I had a metabolic issue.
Yeah.
It wasn't me being lazy or out of control or just a fatty, as some people would say. That's literally what people would say. Well, you're just a fatty. You just like food. You just want to overeat.
No.
And that wasn't the case. And so finding out that you have an actual thing, getting a diagnosis gives you the power to make decisions. And I made decisions and then I found out, oh, these things do work for me.
Right.
And I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. I made this journey. I did this
Yeah.
journey
I'm
with
proud of you for doing
doctors,
it.
with
Because I've
doctors
been
and
on it the whole way with you. Like
yeah,
I've watched a lot of iterations of you over the last 15 years, and you have worked very hard on this last part of your journey.
mhm.
And I'm proud of you because it's definitely not the easy way out.
Not,
Definitely
not at
not.
all. And
Yeah.
you still have to work for it. It's that operation didn't do anything. It was a tool. If I do not use that, if you don't use the tool correctly, and the tool can be an operation, the tool can be medication, the tool can be counseling. If you don't utilize the tool, if you don't use it properly, it won't work.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to figure out, and I always, always encourage you, you have to find a medical provider or a counselor or whoever that
That will listen.
understands and listens and will work with you. That is
And if you are
paramount.
in the Western Washington area and you want a referral for that, I have an incredible medical provider.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've had people say, well, why do you need a semaglutide if you had this procedure done? I thought that was supposed to be the thing that made you lose weight. It was a tool,
It was
right?
one of the tools.
And the one that I had done, because it wasn't surgical and it wasn't as aggressive of a tool, they said you're only going like the most you'll lose is 30% of your body weight. The most.
Yeah.
It's usually 20 to 25%. So with where I was sitting, it's like I used the tool of having the ESG, which is the endoscopic sleeve, and I plateaued
Mhm.
after 2 years of
Mhm.
being post procedure. It's like my body settled at a new norm. And for me, that wasn't enough. I
Mhm.
wanted more. So I'm a lot healthier than I was. Like all of my numbers have gone down in the best way. I'm more capable. I'm more flexible. I have more things that I can do in life because I lost the initial weight from the ESG. But I know that my life could be better if I had more flexibility or
Mhm.
more things,
You want to get
about
your
longevity. It's not
it's about
not about
longevity
looks. I don't
and
give a shit what I look like in jeans. Like, I don't care.
mobility and
But it's like there are just things that I can't do because I'm still overweight. So it's like, okay, what other tools are available to go in addition to the thing that I already had?
Mhm.
And talking to multiple medical professionals, which, by the way, I'm not going to take advice from people on Facebook. I'm going to listen to my doctor. Um,
For
but
real.
people are like, well,
You shouldn't take advice from us. You can listen to
why
us,
would you have to be
but
on a
we're going to tell you go
GLP-1
to a
if you had
doctor.
this procedure? Like, isn't that what the procedure was for? It was like, yeah, the procedure did a good chunk of it, but there's still more to be done.
Yeah.
So, also none of your business.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just curious, like, oh, I thought, but if it's said in a judgy way, which I feel like people love to be judgy.
GLPs, it's you have to do your research on it. You have to work with a provider and make sure it's safe for you to use it, that it's going to work for you. Some people get extremely nauseous on them, and it ends up not being something. It is a tool. It's one to explore. It's one to explore with a medical professional
Mhm.
and find out. And what it does for me is GLPs were designed to work specifically with insulin.
Yeah.
So they
Because
make
I'm
your
diabetic. That's why that's the initial
yeah.
reason that I'm on it.
And
It's
I'm
for
insulin
weight loss.
resistant, which is a step before
Mm.
being diabetic. So it targets the hormones that help you produce your insulin and use it appropriately, use it efficiently.
Mm.
What people who have PCOS, what people who have insulin resistant, the problem is you don't make enough insulin on your own, and even the stuff you're using is not working properly. It's not carrying away the molecules of sugar like it's supposed to. That's why GLPs were designed. My surgery doesn't fix that part.
Yeah.
What it did was it helped me lose weight and get rid of some of my excess fat and restrict what could come in. But it never played with the insulin at all. It doesn't. That weight loss surgery doesn't mess with your insulin.
Right.
That's not why it's designed. So you have to do a lot of research.
You have to be your own advocate. You have to ask the questions that are uncomfortable. You have to ask what are the possible downsides? What are the possible side effects? Like, if I go down this route for this thing, like, what's the worst case scenario?
What's
Like,
my quality
looking
of
at
life? What are the side effects?
what should I pay attention for?
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know that, if, getting headaches is a serious side effect, that means something's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I got to know that.
Yeah.
So ask those awkward
And
questions and the things that,
not just weight loss medications.
Yeah.
I had
no, like the estrogen. So I'm going to start estrogen today. I have no idea what that's going to do to me.
Yeah.
I have no idea because I've never taken it. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping that it's going to be something that helps level out the menopause symptoms and help with the depression and anxiety that I've been having.
Mhm.
But like,
Yeah,
we'll
there
find
could
out,
be
I
side.
guess.
I mean, some people have side effect. A certain amount of people will have a side effect from any given thing.
Mhm.
I had to take a medication when I was having really, really bad GERD. A medication they gave me, and
Gastroesophageal reflux disease, by the way.
yeah, so like acid reflux, but
Yeah.
I got a thing called globus sensation, which is it's a lump in your throat, and it feels like a constant lump, and you have to swallow all the time. And interestingly enough, the thing that takes that globus sensation away is actually a psychiatric drug, because for some reason this acid reflux is sending a message to your brain that it needs to send stuff down, like it makes your nose run, it makes things go down to put the fire out, basically. So you start getting postnasal drip, you start getting this globus sensation. So it's actually a thing that goes up and it works on this stuff in your brain that sends a message, no, you don't have this lump in your throat. But what it did was, and it did work eventually, because I'll tell you, feeling like you have to phantom swallow all the time.
God, that'd be so
is exhausting
annoying.
and annoying.
That would be like,
yeah, it's really annoying, and it's hard to sleep. It causes all kinds of stuff. But the side effect of that medication was extreme dry mouth, like cotton mouth, extreme dry mouth. So I was damned if I do and damned if I didn't. It was getting rid of the lump in my throat, but my lips would like stick to my teeth. there was no moisture, and I had to take lozenges all. So I was on it long enough that I was able to get rid of the thing. But then it's like, so sometimes the cure is almost as bad as the thing.
Mhm.
So finding out, doing your research, some things will make you constipate. I mean, you want to look at what all those side effects are, and then you have to make a call on, is this the right thing for me? Is this
Right.
going to work? Or are the side effects, sometimes the side effects are worse than the actual thing, and you'll go back to the drawing board.
Right. And I appreciated my doctor saying, yes, we could test all of your estrogen levels and everything, but it's really not going to give us any information that is going to change how we will treat
How would
what
we'd
you're
approach it?
going through.
Yeah.
So I can run the tests, sure, but I don't think we need to. So I would rather, because there's no harm in trying estrogen for this
Yeah.
and getting you back on the Adderall. Um, because there's not a risk in that, let's do that because I don't think the tests are going to be conclusive to the answers you're seeking.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that they were like,
Honest with you.
yeah,
It's
and
good to
that's
have that. That's kind of rapport you want to
yeah,
have.
that's what you want in your medical provider is that they're actually listening. And I almost started crying because I'm like, I'm a fucking mess right now. Like emotionally, I just feel like I don't have drive or motivation. Like all I want to do is cry. I don't want to be around people.
Ah,
And they're like, okay, so let's start digging into why we think this is going on. And they sat and just listened and asked really good questions. And like, okay, I think that this is what I'm hearing, and here's how we're going to come at it.
yeah.
So,
And the thing is as you get to be in midlife, in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, you guys, things just start to happen. It's just part of our progression in life. Even when you've taken really good care of yourself
mm,
and you've had really good health, it's just you start now getting to times in your life when maybe you're going to have to look at what your options are. You could develop something like I had my stepsister developed uh oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called right now, but what I'm saying is she got a disease that's one of the ones that happens when you're starting to get a little bit older. You can start to have dementia, you can start to have, just different, you could have cancer. There could be things where you've lived a healthy life, but now you're maybe going to have to look at what your medical options are.
mm,
And like going back to the discussion we had about when it was the 80s and mental health, you know, people my age, I'm 60, I still have friends who feel a lot of shame if they have to take some kind of a mental health drug. And we shouldn't feel that way. We want to take that stigma away because it's
great.
your mental
Yeah.
health on the line. It's your quality of life on the line. And if you're more worried about what people are going to think of you than getting the treatment that you need that could make you feel
What are
better,
they going to think if you have like a manic episode?
yeah, they're going to have
Like, what are they
feelings
gonna
about
think if
that
you have,
too.
like, a breakdown? Like,
Yeah.
pick your hard road. The both roads are hard.
Yeah.
Pick your hard.
And also, it's about letting go of needing that validation and approval from, your peers, from family members, and recognizing that this is a you thing and you are entitled to find a solution that works for you and that you do not have to defend that to other people.
Well, I'll tell you, like, saying publicly what was that, like 10 episodes when we talked about weight loss? Saying publicly that I had had a weight loss procedure and today saying publicly some of the medications I'm on feels squidgy.
Mhm.
It feels uncomfortable. It feels like, well, why would I say this if I don't have to? Because, like, people might form a certain opinion about me because of blah, 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 blah. But what if somebody's listening that they needed that, like,
Yeah.
that's their aha, like, "Oh my god," like, if they can do it, then, like, maybe it's not as bad as I think. So
I've always been really upfront and honest about when I'm doing stuff like this. For one thing, I'm always that way with my partner, whoever, my partner, my kids. As soon as I made the medical decision that I was going to do that, it was a conversation with my husband, of course, because there was money involved. So of course we had to talk about it, and I did need his buy off on it because it affected our finances.
yeah.
And I wanted my kids to know because, if there was complications or if something happened in my recovery, I wanted them to know. But I I didn't hide it from anybody. When people asked me about it, I talked about it. But
See, I
definitely
definitely
friends who had big feelings about it. And I had somebody send me a letter, an email a week before I was supposed to have the procedure telling me to cancel it. They sent some statistics of how often people die during the procedure, blah, 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 blah. And they were all incorrect. I had the actual correct ones because my doctor had given them to me, because there is a mortality rate assigned to gastric bypass, and it's the same as having your gallbladder removed. It's the same percentage, and it's very low.
And maybe
it's under
years
1%.
and years ago,
It was different
when it was first happening, and they didn't fully understand it.
Yeah, or was that much more? It wasn't just laparoscopically back then, and sometimes it's not now. But it's just that things had changed. And this person wrote me that, and I wrote them back, and I said, "Thank you so much for caring about me," and that's all I said. And I had my surgery scheduled. Thank you so much for caring about me. That's it.
Yeah.
And some people who you don't even know care for you because you haven't heard from them in ages. When they find out you're doing something, they'll go out of their way to get a hold of you and let you know how much they care about you. And they don't.
Ooh, I'm sensing a hint.
I just want you to know that they don't, and to ignore it. There are people who will be your coworkers who you'll barely know.
Well, that might be their truth. That might be the truth, that they have experienced something or known someone. But we are humans with free will, and we get to make our own decisions. And that's all great if you bless and release. They might really feel that that's the case.
Yeah.
But it's just like when the vaccines were coming out, it's like everybody's like, oh, it's this, it's that. Like, so many opinions on the vaccination for COVID. And I'm like, do you know who I'm going to listen to? My doctor that manages my health, and I have 3 autoimmune conditions. How about I listen to my doctor that manages all 3 of my autoimmune conditions?
And you sending me Facebook links and Instagram links to YouTube of people who aren't doctors with all their stats isn't going to work.
If I'm going to take medical advice, I'm taking it from my medical provider.
Yeah.
Like, I won't even take it from Shelly.
No.
Because she's not my medical provider.
I encourage doing research, and I have went out and researched and found different things. I try to get my research from places that are actually, if I'm looking for something medical research. It's out there. There's tons of medical research. I do tend to not get my stuff from YouTubers or people who
Instagram reel.
Maybe those are people who are maybe relaying their own experience, which is still valuable, but that's going to be unique to each individual.
My body's wired different than most people's, according to my doctor, because I have these autoimmune things where my body fights its own blood. My body thinks that my own red blood cells are infections.
Yeah.
So it's like, because my blood fights itself, like, I'm a whole different ball of wax than probably anybody on the planet, because the trifecta of the 3 autoimmunes that I have, one is super, 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 super rare that you can almost not find any data on it. So I would bet I might be the only person that has all 3. So do you know who I should listen to? My doctor, and that's what I'm doing.
So other people, first of all, if people come up to you and bring up your health, you don't bring it up with them. They bring it up to you. That's a big nunya. That is none of their business. Like, even if you are going through a health struggle and maybe you've lost a lot of weight, or maybe you're on prednisone and you've gained a lot of weight, it is no one's business to bring up your health to you. If you bring it up and you want to talk about it, that's fine. If someone comes to you and mentions your health, it ain't their fucking business.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to talk about it, you don't.
Well, and my doctor said, this was right as the vaccines were being released for COVID. She said, and I had to see her every 2 weeks because she was testing my pulmonary function and all of these things, because it was such an unknown. COVID was such an unknown when it first happened. And she said, here's the thing, Angie, most people will be fine if they get COVID. Like, they'll be sick, they'll get sick, whatever. You are not going to be one of those people because of the way that your immune system works and your whole autoimmune stuff. She said, you will be one of the people in the hospital on the respirator praying to live another day. And for that reason, I want you to get this specific vaccination. And she continued to see me every 2 weeks for about the first 9 months of COVID because she wanted to make sure I hadn't seen anybody. She wanted to test all of my pulmonary function.
Yeah.
So it was important to her because I'm like the girl in the bubble when it comes to autoimmune. I was like a massive puzzle piece question mark that it took like 6 doctors to figure out what the fuck was even wrong with me.
Yeah.
But it's like, and people had a lot of opinions about the fact that I was getting the vaccine early. And it's like, again, you're not my doctor.
Right.
So
it's just your
most
health is
people, again, in the words of my doctor, most people will be just fine.
Yeah.
I was not going to be one of those people. So
Yeah.
I did what I needed to do for my own health.
And the vaccine is one that's people have tons and tons of opinions on that.
And I do still
and
get it boosted as often as I can.
It's fine that however you feel about it out there, however you feel out there, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you've done your research and you've made your call, that's fine. I tell nobody that they should or shouldn't have a vaccine.
This is neither pro nor con for any of these treatments or preventative.
I don't bring up people's health.
No.
If they want to talk to me about it and invite me into that conversation and want to ask about my experience with something, I am happy to do that. But I will not go and start a conversation with an overweight person and say, hey, have you thought about having gastric bypass? I had it and it worked great for me. I would just never do that. And I had people.
Isn't it wild that people do?
That. Yeah. Or if you're somewhere, or if you're talking about, like if you're open about, I've had, sometimes I'll talk about my anxiety because I do have diagnosed, I have anxiety disorder. I have anxiety disorder and I have, I've had actual clinical depression and I've had episodic depression. So again, diagnosed. And I'll talk about it openly because I'm honestly a pretty normal person. I want to say that.
You're open. You're very and
I have things that are diagnosed, but I still consider myself to be pretty level-headed. I'm able to work and have a full-time job and have a career. And I was undiagnosed with those things for decades.
Yeah.
And I've had treatment. So I would like people to see you can function pretty well if you get your diagnosis and take care of yourself.
Yeah.
So,
like I'm on anxiety medicine as needed. I am on ADHD medicine. I'm on like all of these things. It's like, it's all tools, like Shelly was saying, to just put you on your best path to like have the most success health-wise as you can.
And I have to be on medication sometimes, and there's times when I don't have to be. And I've learned a lot through counseling and behavior modification, where now I know when an anxiety or a panic attack is coming on. I know how to talk myself out of it, but that took I had to learn how to do that. And there's no shame in any of that.
Nope.
And it's getting to a point, the biggest lesson out of all this is you understanding that you have the right to take care of yourself. You have the right to find a medical provider and be on medication if medication is going to help you, and you're not going to be affected by side effects, or you're willing to have the side effects if it improves the overall quality of your life. Those are decisions you get to make. It's not a decision your spouse can make. It's not a decision your kids can make. It really is one you have to make. And then there's certain people in your life who have the right to know. Your partner, yes, of course. Anybody who lives in the house with you has the right to know that you're doing that, because maybe they need to help you. You might not know you're having a side effect, or you might not know your mood is elevated or not elevated. You might not be aware of it. So the people you live with, of course, they should know. But ultimately, it's still your decision. Do your coworkers need to know? No. Do any of your friends need to know who don't live with you? No. That's all up to you. And you get to decide who gets to know that part of your life, because it is a very private thing. Your health is a private thing.
That's right.
And
well put.
Yeah. Advocate for yourself.
Shelly and I are very open with each other. Like we talk about every bodily function and everything that's going on.
Even when the other one doesn't want to hear.
Yes. Even when
we still
doesn't want to hear.
We still talk.
So hopefully this has given somebody out there a little bit of freedom and understanding to potentially advocate for themselves
Mhm.
or say, maybe I do want to try a treatment, because there is no shade in that. So
Also,
hopefully
just
this lands for someone.
I know we're going to wrap up, but also if you have a medical provider that you've had for a long time, you can change your medical provider. Sometimes there's medical providers who don't stay up with everything that's going on, or they'll have a real strong feeling about something and not want to pursue something with you. And it is okay to change medical providers if you want to explore something and you think it's worth exploring. A lot of people feel like they can't break up with their doctor, and you can.
Yeah.
You can. I've had different doctors at different times in my life for different things, and that is absolutely okay. Sometimes you need a specialist or a referral. Sometimes a general practitioner can't cover what you need. So advocate for yourself in that sense too. If you do not have a supportive doctor, I had a doctor once where I went in for a sinus infection and they handed me a pamphlet on losing weight. And I knew right away, because this was a new doctor I was seeing, because
That's the
mine
thing.
had
When you're
left.
overweight, like a lot of medical providers, everything is because of your weight. And it's like,
Yeah. My old provider had left, had retired or left the practice, and they sent me over to this new person. This was my first visit with them. Every year I would get sinusitis and I would get a sinus infection. And I went in and they didn't even ask me any questions about that. They immediately went and gave me this pamphlet on losing weight and said, "Have you ever thought about losing weight?" And I was in my 40s,
no,
and
really, what's that?
this was a younger man. And I said, 1,000 fucking times. And he just looked at me and
That's
I
why I
went,
love
I said, does that have anything to do with, does my being overweight have anything to do with this raging sinus infection I have? Is that related? And he was like, no. And I said, okay, can we talk about that? I got my sinus medicine
Good
and
for
I
you.
promptly changed
Yeah.
doctors. So advocate for yourself in that sense too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
For real.
Okay.
Goodness.
Woo! We were on a tear.
We were on
I
a
love it when
tear.
we're on a tear.
We get there.
So, Shelly, we are going to do our rapid fire question.
Okay.
Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Would you rather spend an afternoon watching old Seinfeld reruns or Gilligan's Island?
Oh, goodness.
How
Those are really
I wonder
different.
how these are going to change once I start back on my ADD.
Right now, I'm on a total just wanting to be off in the zone and not have to think at all. So I'd go Gilligan's Island, because those are no brainers. It's fodder.
Yeah.
Even Seinfeld, sometimes you have to think about it a little bit.
A little bit.
Don't want to do
I
that.
don't want to.
No. Okay, Angie, I'm going to go to a food one. Would you rather have a delicate, lovely cheese souffle?
Oh, okay.
Cheese
No,
souffle.
I thought you were going with that.
Or a hearty, more dense, like quiche Lorraine?
Right now, I feel like the egg souffle sounds nice.
Okay.
Like where my stomach is sitting right now, that sounds nice and light and lovely.
I kind of want
Yeah.
one, but I don't want to have to make it.
Yeah, it's hard to make.
Yeah, they're a talent. They're a talent. There's a talent requirement, skill requirement.
Okay, Shelly. Oh gosh. What is your favorite food to meal prep?
Oh. I like to make, if I'm just going to do a big old bunch of something, a big old vat of something, I have a couple.
A vat.
I like to do egg roll in a bowl. That's
you make
a good
such
one.
good egg roll in a bowl.
Yeah, that's a good one. And now I might have to do that for Phil as I'm going away this weekend. So egg roll in a bowl is a really good one. And it's easy and you can make a lot of it and it's quick. So go look that up, folks. Egg roll in a bowl.
So Shelly makes a really good one. She's the one that actually taught me that recipe because we were on keto together. Remember when we were meal prepping for each other?
Yes.
So we'd each make like multiple meals, and you and Melanie and I would like give each other
treat off. That was fun.
I loved getting other people's food.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay, your second question.
All right. We'll go back to, I think you kind of did a TV show one with me. So let's do
You want to know how I came to the TV show one?
Yeah.
Because you were talking about changing doctors. And I remember the episode of Seinfeld where Elaine was like don't write it in my chart because she was like, it's going to follow her.
Yes.
So I got stuck in Seinfeld for a second. So
That's funny.
Ask a Seinfeld question, but then I didn't know what to ask.
That was a good one.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
That's a good one. Okay, Angie, you are going to you're going to acquire a new skill.
Neat.
And
what is it?
It is, you can learn either tap dancing or pole dancing.
Oh, man.
Which one do you want to learn?
I've always
on the
learn
good
both.
ship, lollipop.
Okay.
You want to learn?
I've always wanted to do both, by the way.
Okay.
I don't think my
Did
body...
I Sophie's Choice you again?
Totally did. And one is so wholesome and one is so not.
Yeah. They're both supposed to be.
Here's the reality. Since my car accident, because my legs don't work like normal legs, like my hips don't work like normal hips, I think pole dancing would be so optimistic to think that I could even do a minute and a half of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think logistics chat, I don't think that would be possible for me to learn. I've always been fascinated by tap dancing. And did you know AJ can tap dance?
Oh,
how cool is that?
That's super fun.
Yeah, she took dance like most of her
kickball chain,
life, but she can do the she can tap, which I love watching tap dancing. It's fascinating.
I'd love to hear it too.
I would say tap dancing. If I could do pole dancing, I mean, that feels like it would be sexy, but I think I would still want to know how to do tap dancing.
I'm pretty sure I would massacre both those things and neither would be sexy. I do not think I would be good on a pole.
Well, you're sexy just sitting here.
I'm not. So okay, good.
You don't need to do any tap dancing or pole dancing.
No, neither one is going to work for me. It's a no-go. It's a no-fly zone for me.
No-fly zone. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening. It means the world that you have spent your time with us. And if you have time, or even if you don't, we're going to do call to action. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and 5-star review. All of those.
I always hold
you know
what,
what? It would take you less than 2 minutes to do all of those things.
I think it would take less than a minute. I think you could do it all.
Okay.
Speedy.
Let's see. Oh, let's put that challenge out there. Tell us how long it takes you to do all 5 of those things. And as per usual, until next time, we bid you adieu.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
That's it for today's dose of midlife mischief on Hot Flash Chronicles. Thanks for listening and letting us overshare.
If you laughed, nodded along, or shouted same at any point, hit that subscribe button and share us with your favorite humans. And remember, we're still hot, just in flashes.